Good morning. I want to share a dream with you that I had last night. Today is Monday, June 24th, 2024. I had this dream last night at between 3 and 3:30 a.m. And I really feel like I'm supposed to share it. I really sense that I'm supposed to share it. And so here's the dream, and I'm going to also share the interpretation that I got after. And if you have any insight or interpretation, please message me and let me know. So here's the dream. I was in what felt like a store, like a store. And I didn't know it at the time, but it was elevated. It was high in the sky. And I was in the store, and there were so many people there shopping. It was packed. And I was in the middle of the store where mannequins go. You know, it was like elevated up. If you go to a sporting goods store, you'll see these mannequins elevated, you know, dressed like a baseball player, or dressed like they're modeling what's for sale in the store. And I was on top of one of those with my youngest son, Caleb. And I was sitting up there, but I was in a hammock, okay? I was in a hammock, and my son was sitting next to me. The store was packed, and there were lines of people checking out and just, you know, paying for their stuff that they bought in the store. And I was sitting up there with my son, and then the song Santeria by Sublime comes on, which used to be my favorite song when I was a teenager and in the world. And it was just like, I mean, who my age, 40 years old, does not know that song? Like, and when it comes on, you probably still remember every single word. And so the song came on, and we were like, oh my gosh. And so we all were singing the song, and I knew every word, and we were singing it. And I was so proud that I knew all the song, that I knew all the words. And because everybody knew all the words, the whole store was singing it, and we were like, you know, jamming out to it. And even my son was singing it, and I was like, he doesn't know the song, but okay, like, cool, he knows the song. And we're singing it, and I'm proud to be singing it. And there's people below me that are looking at me and are like, oh my gosh, her son knows this song? Like, this is not a good song. And I was like, yeah, my son knows this song. Like, yeah, that's cool. Like, yeah, we're having a good time, and we all know this song. And then somebody that I know comes to the door and is like, it was a guy, and he's like, isn't this rad? Like, everybody knows this song, and this is good times, and isn't this amazing? Like, this is so cool. Everybody knows the song. Let's have a good time. And I look at him, and he is dressed like a rock star. Like, he's got a white face with a black star over his right eye, and like, you know, like kind of like spiky hair. He looks like a rock star. And I was like, whoa, like that's weird. Why is he dressed like that? And it's like, yeah, that's so cool. Meanwhile, people are checking out, like just lines like TJ Maxx, like it's just packed, and they're checking out. And then all of a sudden we all hear that a storm is coming. And I was like, because we have weather apps, you know, in Missouri, we have weather apps to tell us if there's tornado watch warning, like storms, hail, whatever, because we have wild weather out here. And somebody's like, a storm is coming, everybody needs to get home. So everybody said, oh, okay, let's all go home. So then we all start to, this is when I figure out that we're high in the sky, like we're elevated. Like, if you've ever gone to Disneyland and the tree houses are up because you could see the nets and the stairs and everything. Well, the stairs were very steep. So then we all start leaving, and we all start descending like down these stairs to get home, to like go home and make our way up to our houses to safety, because the storm is coming. And so as I'm going down, the rain starts to come down, and it's like rain, like we've seen rain in Missouri. I was like, oh, this is fine. Like, we might get a little wet, but we'll be fine. We'll just make it home. And then I remember trying to pull out my phone to vlog, and it started to rain a little bit harder. And it felt like, oh no, this is not a time, like this is not it just felt very trivial to vlog. And I didn't. And we started to go faster because it started to rain harder. And then we were on flat ground, and I knew at this point that I was by myself and that my husband and my 2 younger kids were with him. And we were separated, and I was like, okay, I hope they make it home. Like, I just need to get home. Excuse me. And so we're running home, and it's pouring by this time. But I'm like, you know what? We've done this before. Like, we've gotten soaking wet by rain before. Like, it's not a big deal. We've been here, done this. We're gonna be fine. We're just gonna be a little wet, but we're gonna be fine. And then I realized that there's a big group of people in front of me on blacktop, and a big group of people behind me on a grassy area. And then I know there's still people coming down the stairs. And then above the people on the blacktop in front of me, I know that there's like a village. That's where our houses were, and we all needed to get to those houses. So a voice from the grassy area, a man, he's like, it's coming, like, you guys, it's here, we gotta go, hurry. And so we're running, and then he's like, freeze, everybody stop, you can't move, you have to brace yourselves, like, you shouldn't keep running, like, brace yourselves because it's coming. Like, we could see the hurricane approaching. And then he's like, it's here, everybody brace yourselves. And so everybody's frozen and stopped because, like, okay, it's here, we're in the middle of a storm now. And the ground began to shake, a shaking that I've never felt before. It was like vibration from my feet up through my body, and my being like was being shaken. Everything was shaking so badly that people were being knocked down like bowling pins. It wasn't like they were falling to their knees and, like, you know, losing their balance. Like, they were being dropped like bowling pins. Like, they were falling on their backs, and some people were being like bounced and falling so hard that they disappeared. Like, they disappeared like a video game, you know, like you hit something in Mario Brothers, like doop, 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 and then it goes away. Like, they were falling so hard that they were disappearing. And then I knew when I saw people disappearing, like, okay, there are casualties. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna see Joel and my kids again. I don't know who's gonna make it out of this. And everybody was on their backs, and everybody had fallen to the ground. And that voice was saying, just get on the ground. It might be safer. Just get on the ground already. Like, get on your knees, get on your back. You might save yourself. And I was like, I need to get on my knees. I need to get on the ground because I might be safer. But then I realized that I wasn't moving. I realized that I was up against a building. Like, you know, when you're in the park and there's like a standalone bathroom building, like, I was up against a building, and everybody was on the ground, and I was standing on my feet, and like, I could feel the vibration moving through me. Like, I could feel the shaking, and I could feel the building shaking, but I knew that I wasn't gonna fall. Like, I wasn't falling. I just knew that I was on my feet. Like, I'm on my feet, and everybody's like on the ground next to me, and this building was holding me up. And it was sheltering me from the wind, and it was sheltering me from the rain, and sheltering me from the shaking. It was keeping me upright. And I didn't even realize that until I was like, I need to get on the floor. But then I was like, wait, I don't need to get on the floor. Like, I'm not even falling. I'm not even, like, this thing is holding me up. And I could feel that it was shaking, but I knew it was deep into the ground, and like, it wasn't going anywhere. And so that building saved me. But I had this sense of doom in my heart that I knew people weren't making it out of this. Like, I knew it was bad. I knew it was really, really bad. And so the interpretation that I got for it so far, like I said, if you have anything, please let me know. So the store, I really feel like it's the church. We are a place that is high and is elevated and should be modeling, like where I was in that store was elevated. And because mannequins model, they give you a representation, an eye representation of the things that are available in that store, right? The things that you can buy, the things that you can take part of. And I was supposed to be modeling something in that place, but that place itself was high and it was elevated, and places that are high and elevated show influence, show higher status. Like God places us up higher, but it was full of consumerism. Like that place, people were just buying bags and bags of stuff, and just and we were listening and singing Santeria. And if you don't know what Santeria is, like, I just thought it was witchcraft, but it's more than that. It's a religion, and it is a mixture. How people venerate their deities in Santeria is through the Catholic Church to this day. It is an Afro-Caribbean religion, but they have another god and other deities, but they venerate and they worship through the Catholic Church because they were brought from Africa as slaves, taken to Cuba. There's a whole history of it, but the word Santeria itself translates to Way of the Saints. It is a religion, and it's a mixture. And so that's what I felt like, that is like, we're supposed to be the church, but there's a mixture in the church with the world, with darkness, with other deities, with other gods. And we're supposed to be modeling and doing these things. Like, I was sitting in a hammock. Where do you see hammocks? Usually on tropical islands, you know. It means leisure, it means rest, it means no worries. It means like, oh, you're just lackadaisical and not working. We're supposed to be working, and we're supposed to be working hard and running hard. Where I was in a hammock singing a worldly mixture song about other gods and deities. And then we heard the warning that the storm was coming, and it was like, oh, we've been here before. Like, there's rain, but we've been here before. Look at all the things that we all got worked up over, and nothing happened. Y2K, and like even COVID, it's like we got through COVID. Like, this is like, we've been here before. We've gotten wet, but we're gonna be fine. And then the shaking started, like the real hurricane came, and people were caught off guard. People were not ready. People were falling, like I said. And not just falling, they were dying. And the only thing that held me up was the shelter. And if I didn't have the shelter, I would have been just like everyone else on the ground, dead, losing everything if I didn't have this shelter. This shelter represents the Father, represents the strong tower, our shelter, our protector, our provider, everything. When the time comes, so we won't be shaken, right? Our house built on a firm foundation and built on the rock, who is Jesus, who is Yeshua. And if we don't have that, we're gonna perish. The shelter, it protected me from the wind, from the rain, from the shaking, from falling. It held me up. It didn't mean that I didn't go through it. It didn't mean that I disappeared and I didn't go through it. Like, I felt the shaking in me, but I didn't fall. And so that's what I really feel like the message is. Oh, and then that friend that came, and he looked like a rock star, and he had a black star over his eye. A star it represents a self-derived intelligence which departs from God, thus falls from heaven, and black means darkness. So a dark self-derived intelligence, because the Bible says that our heart is wicked and deceitful, and anything that comes from ourselves, comes from us and ourselves, and our own heart is wicked and it's deceitful, and is over your eyes represents like how you see things, the clarity in which you see things, and a star is that self-derived intelligence, which is apart and it's separate from God. So I feel like it was in the church, and it's like, isn't this cool? Like, we all know this song. Like, we're the church is coming from a self-derived intelligence, and it's dark, it's coming from self, and we need to wake up. If we do not have a strong and solid foundation, we are going to die. We are going to perish. And people are going to perish if they don't take heed to the message that the shaking is coming, and you need to get out of your hammock, and you need to model the true, the sincere love and strength that comes from the Father. And you need to forsake all other deities. You need to forsake all other things, consumerism, the things that this world offers. The church needs to rid itself of that stuff, and we need to be ready for the shaking, because it's coming. I don't know when it's coming. I don't know what the shaking means. I don't know what it means exactly. I don't know if it means, the fall of America, the fall of the whole civilization. I don't know if it's the second coming of Jesus. I don't know what it means, but we need to be ready, and our foundations need to be set, and our structures need to be set and built on that firm foundation. And so this is like I said, take it to your own prayer closets and pray about it and ask the Holy Spirit to reveal more to you. And if you do have more of an interpretation, please send it my way. And I just had to share that with everybody. So be blessed and stay vigilant. Keep your ear to the ground. Cleanse your hearts. Purge your lips with hyssop. Purge your lives of things that are going to hinder you, the things that are trivial, the things that don't belong there. Cleanse the temple. Like, that's what I feel like is the message, is like the church needs to be cleansed. Like, this is what we're doing as a church, the way of the saints. Like, this is what's happening. We look just like the world, and we need to look different and cleanse ourselves of the darkness and the self-derived intelligence. And we need to be ready for the shaking. So pray, God, how do we prepare for the shaking? What are we to do as your people? What are we to do to prepare for the shaking? How do we take action? How do we take heed to this word and do and be prepared for the shaking? And like I said, if you have any insight, any prophetic insight, or anything to add, or any interpretations, please just let me know. You can even just put it, I'm going to share this on YouTube, just put it in the comments for people, because these warnings and these dreams are not just for individuals or for individuals and their families. Like, it's for the body at large. And so everything with discernment, of course, taking it to your own prayer closet and praying about these things, and we're all a piece to the puzzle. So I encourage you to add your piece if you have something, and of course receive everything with discernment and with prayer. So that is the dream, and I just pray that he would lead us to be prepared, and that we would prepare our garments, and we would prepare for shaking, for his second coming, and everything that could potentially happen in this world. So I'll leave you with that. Blessings.